Welcome to the 1995 edition of Classic Video Reflections, featuring the cars, people, and activities of the North Texas region Classic Car Club of America. As far as the Classic Car Club calendar is concerned, the year is officially started by our annual Christmas party. You see, Classic Car Club's fiscal year begins in December. For the third year, Ugatti's Italian Restaurant at Bachman Lake was chosen to host our festivities. Not only is the food wonderful, but we have the luxury of having the establishment all to ourselves. It's normally closed on Sunday afternoons, but since the restaurant owner has a particular affection for classic-era cars, he's more than willing to open his doors for us. The food's always great, and the secluded private parking makes it a carefree party to bring your classic car to. This is just always a popular event, and this year was no exception.
Well, don't worry about it. I'll fix it up. We don't see the rest of the year, though.
I know. What can I say?
Neo Classics. That again. Yeah.
Turn that off. Although I have to admit, we love that tape from last getting all the gossip.
That's right. DG, why are you running?
Was there a lot of I don't understand. Not in a while. For the men together, list of qualifications. Well, I think I'm going to stay right out of that program. Well, when we talk about belly dancers, we're not talking about classic car
Continue.
That was from our illustrious director. It's a little scary. Yes.
She's got them all in her earrings, too. That's right. Oh, you do have some new things on there. Have you been spending our money on clothes?
That's why we decided to move the critic. No. So you guys need to talk about it before you go down there.
This drawing is for the winner of the drawing will be for only the people that brought classic cars. They are Marvin Johnson, Woody Norvell, Earl Singley, Bill Mott, Chuck Conrad, Ward Beebe, Tom Lennon, Tom Morey, and Bill Cook.
All right, we'll really do that.
And I don't have my glasses on. So do you want to take this in, John?
Okay, thank you.
Read the name.
The winner is Tom Lennon.
All right. I'll take it, he says.
You're going to take it for Tom?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, look at
Just what I need.
A chamois.
I have a certificate here for a smoked turkey, courtesy of Wallace Wade. And I understand if you will look on the back of your chair on the left-hand side, there is a star or something. If you find a star on the left-hand side of the back of your chair, you win. You're the winner. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, right.
Thank you, Wallace.
I think we all thank Chuck Conrad for this video that he just gave to us. You know, there's a lot of work involved in this, and it's one of the best things we produced during the year is this video. At least last year it was, and I'm sure this year will be just as good. So I think we ought to give him a hand.
Well, thanks for the compliment. You know, some days in Texas are just perfect. Beautiful December weather greeted us as we drove our old Bentley down to Hubbard to help Berta Leon celebrate Christmas with our friends from the Rolls-Royce Owners Club. Berta certainly knows how to throw a party. She makes having 150 or so of her best friends dropping by for a late lunch seem, well, almost effortless. I'm sure it's not, but appearance is everything. Hubbard's a small community about 60 miles south of Dallas between Corsicana and Hillsboro. To find it, you have to be going there. Its small-town charm is a real change from city life in the mid-1990s. You probably could leave your doors unlocked. It's just that kind of place. Berta's home is beautiful with large but unpretentious grounds. It simply looks comfortable and inviting. She's managed to amass one of the most outstanding collections of antique dolls to be found anywhere. Well, now, usually I wouldn't get very excited about dolls. You see, as a child I was told that little boys didn't play with them, but these are different. These are wonderful. Many are mechanical marvels that just predate the classic era by as much as 100 years or more. It's amazing to discover the ingenuity of these early toy makers. In just a few moments, it's easy to become mesmerized by these creations. Of course, the rural atmosphere with all that space leaves lots of room for a very impressive collection of cars. It's really hard to pick a favorite out of the group. Let's see, there's the Hispano Suiza, or maybe the 16-cylinder Marmon. And for those who are particularly attached to British cars, that are known for leaking amazing amounts of oil, and by the way, Bertas don't, there's a fine collection of Rolls-Royce cars. One of each Phantom series and a Silver Ghost, if my memory serves me well. For those who prefer domestic cars, she has a 32 Cadillac and a wonderful Pierce Arrow convertible sedan. Now these are Pebble Beach quality cars. Indeed, many of them have been displayed right there on the 18th green. Of course, there's quite a few non-classic cars to look at too. If you have to pick a favorite, for me it would be the 37 Lagonda Drophead Coupe. It's the sort of car that drows on you, kind of like an old but comfortable tweed jacket. That particular car reminds me of Berta. Not pretentious, just comfortable. You know, I'm happy to call her my friend. An otherwise dreary winter day was brightened by our winter garage tour to John Ridings Lee and Mitchell Rosansky's garages. These gentlemen know how to house motor cars in a very special way. We started our excursion at the dining room of John's home overlooking Turtle Creek. Carol made us all feel right at home with a beautifully served breakfast buffet that would rival any of Dallas's finest eateries. With such exquisite surroundings, it was hard to remember that we'd come to look at the cars. John's done something we've all wished to do. He's purchased the house, well, actually a townhouse, across the street from his home. He then had it modified to accommodate his cars. From the street, you'd never guess what treasures lie inside. His major automotive interest revolves around race cars, but he finds time for a few Pebble Beach quality classics as well, such as his very unusual Dolomite or his Bugatti. It's a wonderful collection. We eventually made our way to Mitchell Rosansky's home in North Dallas. Mitchell is a fan of sports and racing cars, with some very interesting specimens on display. His garage is a spectacular architectural design reminiscent of a railroad roundhouse. Included in this coveted structure is a mini museum of automotive memorabilia, all very tastefully displayed. As we explored, we found a working shop area with all the tools that any mechanic could ever ask for. We topped off our tour with lunch at Mi Cochina, a very good Mexican restaurant which is just across the parking lot from the Automotive Emporium, where after lunch several NTR members could be found admiring the latest in automotive treasures. The North Texas region's annual chili cook-off was hosted by Barbara and Jim Lake at their home on Deloche in Dallas. Actually, it was in Jim's garage. We had a great turnout of members and a fine choice of chilies to sample. The party started about 2 o'clock with visiting, refreshments, and appetizers. A total of 10 members brought chilies to be judged and to be enjoyed by the guests. Celebrity chili judges were Lawrence Marcus of Neiman Marcus fame, Alex Burton, who's a radio and TV commentator, and Domingo Garcia, who was at the time Dallas Mayor Pro Tem. They sampled all the chilies and deliberated a little more. Then they made these awards. Third place went to Chuck Conrad. Hey, that's me. Second place went to Pat McConnell. And first place for the best conventional chili went to Ward Beebe. And a special award for the best tasting chili, which happened to be a vegetarian variety, went to Vanessa Compton. Chili, desserts, and liquid refreshment were all enjoyed by everyone. This meeting could only be described as an outstanding success, with the damp, cool weather only enhancing the taste of the chili. Everyone present really enjoyed themselves.
Chili cook-offs in those days were a lot more raunchy than this one was today, I'll guarantee you. And who was it that raided it? Was it the Collin County Sheriff's Office, an organization little known for their sense of humor. And they were probably upset about a lot of naked women who were there, and some of the less than legal drinks that were there, some of the things that some of the people were doing there. Some of these things are just best not told. But Jim got out on bail just that night, so I guess it was okay.
Well, and our host was following Big John.
Big John had a stagecoach and horses and various tackle, one sort or another. He had a ranch up at Allen.
No, it was at,
It was at Allen. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're going to get going. Thank you very much. Thank you a lot.
Our activities chairman, Steve Chapman, had a better idea. See, a tire kicker breakfast has always been a favorite for NPR. Usually we do it at some place like Hell's Kitchen or Denny's. But this is the Classic Car Club. Why not have a classic breakfast? The Mansion on Turtle Creek is one of the top 10 hotels in the entire United States. Breakfast there is not just a way of starting the morning, it's a splendid experience. We were all greeted by mild spring weather, a good collection of classic cars, and of course the classic people who go along with it. Let's do this one again.
It sounds like fun, but I will new machine you driving out there. We had a... Are you, sir?
TV weather forecasters' promises of strong thunderstorms and tornadoes, coupled with perfect weather, tons of yellow pollen, very friendly people, beautiful and rare cars. Well, of course, it's a spring Southwest Grand Classic. Let's take a look.
Chuck, what are you doing?
What do you think he's doing?
That Chuck, he's there making those videos again.
I think we can, dinner is ready, we can start eating. Why don't we do this on a table-by-table basis?
We all.
He'll never be able to get a job. He'll never be, he'll never represent anything.
Watch him.
You say this is the bad part about it?
Yeah. Especially when you drive.
You have several suicidal bugs on the trip?
Yeah, they don't have the guts to do it again. I think Don's a bit.
What'd they do?
Well, we had overnight spray, a little bit of pollen, and that always helps the cars look well in the heat.
You're right. You'll probably pull off one of those explosions if you would like to hear.
How about that?
Which Magic McGuire's formula is that?
It's something you don't see me do very often. Really enjoy it.
Any of the bugs become old friends? by
Oh,
this point?
yes. Really, sometimes I hate to see him go.
So take those. I better not say this into the camera. All I had to do was polish it. All I had to do was polish it. Everything was perfect about my car.
And I
Just wipe off the Oklahoma dust.
And I filled up with oil this morning, and I didn't use a whole lot of oil coming out.
Hey, that's right. Your inventory of oil was only 6 cans used. The only man that gets 20 miles to the quart.
I get more than that.
Is that what that mobile synthetic does to your car?
More stops for oil than gas. That's Chuck.
I see. Fill it up with oil and check the gas, please.
But I had a car like that in college, a 41 Chrysler, 70 miles to the quart. Here.
And I just touched it up all over and rubbed it out, and it just looked great. Put a new exhaust pipe on it, and it ran like a different car.
No, this old car had 18,000 miles on it when I got it, and half the stuff I didn't replate, this is still the original plating on most of it.
I did get that damn chain last night. You done more? Oh.
We're in. Is that right?
I didn't.
Maybe it was some sort of, timed mechanism because of a 6.
We're learning as we go.
Well, okay.
It's not necessary for you to point out your own defects, bro.
Yeah. gotta check the radiator. We're gonna see if it overheats.
Watch out, he's gonna impale you on the antenna.
Oh, look at that antenna, look.
Is there no horn on the steering column? Mid right. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. Center turn signal. Oh! I mean, all of this stuff. Lighter? Right. Watch that son of a bitch. All right. Did the radio work all right? Yes, radio worked. Well, if we could get the judging crew together here, we could finish up. We only lack this one car.
Bright and early on a wonderful spring morning, we left from Inwood Village for a well-organized caravan to Waxahachie.
Put me a Pensacola today.
No, I've got back. Hi, what in the world are you doing here? I thought you were from Washington.
Hey, Allie, you son. Where the hell you? If I'd known you were gonna be here, I wouldn't come. I feel the same way. That's why I didn't come. But you know what? They hired Eddie by about 5 minutes. Is that right? She got this close to it.
Our technical man is on the ball. Say we got a pretty good turnout here.
Our first stop along the way was the lovely rural home of Frank and Shinobu Guy. Frank has a great garage that many of us really enjoyed searching through.
In fact, it was running. Here's proof. This is my kid's Corvette. It's not mine. I don't think.
After some refreshments, we headed on to downtown Waxahachie for a tour of the various antique shops, including Hilda Chapman's very nicely arranged establishment.
Yeah. It's kind of getting dark.
Well, it should be applied with a specially designed priming system. You need more than the can.
Soon we found ourselves going across the street to the Ellis County Museum for a special upstairs look.
The Ellis County Museum a number of years ago. You might enjoy touring the ground floor. I'm not going to take you through it. Now, the second and third floors are not open to the public. There's no artificial lighting. It's dingy, but it's fun.
There's going to be a lawyer's office over there, and that's what it was before.
Right.
It wasn't long before we found ourselves on the steps of the courthouse, learning about some of its history.
I think after you learn a little bit about the history, you'll realize why it is number 8 on the list of 30 outstanding architectural achievements as designated by the Texas Society of Architects.
It wasn't long before we were off to a wonderful lunch at the newly reopened Rogers Hotel on the city square.
Yeah, it goes all over the world without from
It has a good drive.
Yeah, boy,
We're not on any tight schedule.
Their bodies were just here. Steve's body was just here.
Actually, we were on a pretty tight schedule because we had to go to Keith Beer's home, and also to Charlie Gambulus's car barn. You see, we were in this big hurry because we had to get to the Chapman's house for homemade ice cream.
You bet. Everybody likes ice cream.
Gee whiz.
Now I'm in character, I have a drink.
Well, thank you. It's the Waxahachie Bush
Of course, one of the real highlights was Steve's fabulous collection of antique radios, phonographs, and fans. Oh, and we knew he liked classic cars, too.
Stirling engine is real simple once you think of an engine having no intake cycle, no exhaust cycle, no ignition system. It uses the expansion and contraction of air.
Yes.
It has a hot end and a cold end. And it takes it a minute to be ready to even start.
You have to give it a little help when it
Oh yeah,
it's going
well,
down.
like any engine has to have
Yeah,
a start.
get a little start.
And boy, is it quiet.
Yes, it'll pick up a lot of speed. It takes it about 5 minutes to build up
To
speed.
build
It was called a lake breeze. That was an appropriate name. It was a nice little lake breeze. It was no cyclone or hurricane, but it would be a lifesaver on a hot night, I'll bet.
Our July activity was a Sunday morning visit to Waxahachie to meet the Great American Racers as they stopped at the Waxahachie Courthouse Square for breakfast. We had a turnout of over 50 people, which surprised all of us, since those coming from Dallas had to get up pretty early in the morning for the 1-hour drive to Waxahachie in order to see the racers arriving.
I like their little goggles. They just look like they belong in that area.
While most of my fellow NTR members were enjoying the Great American Race, I had the opportunity to drop in on the Michigan Region's Grand Classic. It's one of the larger CCCA regions and is the home of many club luminaries, including Katie Robbins, who's executive administrator of our national organization. They have a fantastic club publication called Torque, which is always an award winner. Some of the finest classic cars in the world are owned by their members, and these people know how to do things right. Dearborn was chosen as the location, not only for its automotive orientation, because it is the home of Ford, but because of the splendid facilities it possesses. Headquarters was the Dearborn Inn, and most events, including the judging itself, were held at Fairlane, which is the Henry Ford estate. You can say what you want to about Henry's cars, but he really did have a better idea when it came to his home. Situated overlooking the banks of the Rouge River, the mansion and the gardens and the grounds made a very special setting for the gorgeous cars. Suffice to say that the setting was elegant, the food and hospitality were truly classic. I was warmly greeted by lots of very nice and hospitable people who just seemed to enjoy a little colder winter climate than I'm happen to be used to. As I've found just many times, some of the most interesting and friendliest people in the world are members of our club. If for any reason you have the opportunity to visit the Michigan region for a function, I'd highly recommend it. A sunny Saturday in August found us visiting Ken Long's garage, which is located in the Dallas Market District. Our classics were invited inside the building to park in air-conditioned splendor while we viewed Ken's superb collection of 50s and 60s Cadillacs. Our host served a bountiful buffet breakfast, and we enjoyed the cars and visited with our friends. We're going to have to work on Ken to include a classic or two in his collection.
I can't resist, as most of us are enthusiasts of 30s and 40s cars. We're standing by probably the most interesting car here, a 1957 Cadillac Eldorado. Classic Car Club people are always fascinated by true customs. In other words, cars that are built more or less from scratch. This car, as I understand, was probably the lightest American custom car in the sense, and I don't mean flames and hood louvers, I mean a car in which every piece of sheet metal, chrome, glass is different from the standard car. Really, they're the prettiest.
Okay.
What?
Mine, which I had, was a 99, 60.
And an antique, but it's identical in every respect. I wonder if this is even, no, this one's got a cloth insert, and mine had all leather. Other than that, it's pretty simple.
Ken, I'd like to express our appreciation to you for hosting us this morning. We've enjoyed the breakfast and the visit of the boat.
September 8th, 9th, and 10th were the dates for our two-night tour to the scenic town of Granbury and for a visit to Glen Rose. Friday night, several of us met in the Old Town Square in Granbury for a leisurely dinner, and then we followed it by a guided tour of the historic points of interest in the town as seen from an antique white Yellowstone Park-style bus. Saturday morning found us up bright and early to start our trip to Glen Rose, where we toured the Fossil Rim Wildlife Park. This is a very well-maintained and designed facility which allows you to drive right up to the animals who, for the most part, are pretty glad to see you since they know that most of the humans that come there have food for them. I don't think anyone was eaten, but Chuck Murphy's Packard did do its Old Faithful imitation. After a great barbecue lunch at Hammond's Restaurant, we journeyed off to Dublin, which is the home of the last old-fashioned Dr. Pepper bottling plant in the world. It still uses the old bottles and uses pure cane sugar in its formula. Properly chilled to 33 degrees, it really is delicious.
As soon as it's processed, then you have to mix it up. If you're watching early, you've seen how a soda fountain drink is made. You have to mix it. In 1891, we mixed every bottle by hand. We did this all the way from 1930. The bottle will actually fall into the system. This is going to be turn number one. This goes into the large, ultra slow position. This is turn number one.
Just before many of us journey off to Hershey, we kick off the fall with a classic picnic with our friends, the Rolls-Royce Owners Club, as our invited guests. After several years, this has become an established tradition. NTR members can be found bringing the most elaborate baskets of goodies imaginable. Of course, Bill and Barbara Mott always provide ice cream, which is always fun too. Let's join the fun.
He's unloading back down the road, so he may have just come up here to turn around.
Thank you.
Are we going to get real close and comfy?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, they got those long, skinny teeth.
I got a Jaguar bite the other day. I was taking the moisture out of the rear lens of my car, and the Jaguar kind of ripped around and bit me.
Did we get enough to eat?
Mary borrowed the stuff from back, and this woman handles all these little farms. Hello, Chuck.
Our new name tags make it real easy to see who's not there. Is your name on the list?
He's back again. He's back again.
We will see this again, I think.
I think so. Have a cookie, Chuck.
I'll be loving you eternally with a love that's true eternally.
Beautiful day for a picnic, isn't
And
it?
it meant so much.
Good turnout, some pretty cars. How could we do better?
And no rain.
And no rain.
And no rain.
to make
It
it go.
never rains on the
Keep the
Classic
bugs
Car
away.
Club.
I think Bill said this
Is that
year.
a promise?
It usually never rains on the Classic Car Club.
There's something else I can
The rest of that out.
Hold a long time on that one of his.
Well, I think we messed up.
on it.
That's so you got both the strawberry and the chocolate, right?
If it's very early on a Saturday morning on a beautiful fall day, it must be the Preston Forest Car Show.
Your flag. Banner.
It's the official unroll it.
It's probably an AAC. No, wouldn't that be terrible? What about the, no, how about the Model A Club or something?
Turn hard. Come on back. Come on back.
Well, you spotted very well in your painting.
Ken does a painting that's on the poster, which each one of you will receive a copy of today.
Great.
You all set for the 21st?
Yeah, I'll be out there about this time of morning picking up trash.
How do we feel? Interesting to see how it works.
Cadillac is that? Hell, I don't even know who that is. I thought it is gorgeous. Golly. That is a showstopper, isn't it? That's Tom Lennon driving.
Yeah, we just couldn't do with one.
Boy, that's
Good morning, how are you?
That's gorgeous. What
Thank
is
you.
this, a 37?
37.
37.
Series
We gotta make up
85.
a card.
Yeah.
30, that's an extra car we hadn't counted on,
Yeah,
which
well,
is wonderful.
I thought I'd surprise you.
Wonderful. You sure did. Boy, I'll tell you, that is some gorgeous machine.
McGuire. It's got a 47 Lincoln. just have to ask for everybody to forgive me and let me drive it and have the bugs, I guess. Well, Vicki and I will take it out into East Texas to bed and breakfast and out just driving around, and we enjoy it.
Wait, who's the mystery guest?
The mystery guest?
He doesn't know either.
I didn't think there was a mystery
You
guest.
said in your set publication, I didn't read
You're
that.
standing right next to him.
Your reputation was still an aura over the club.
It's not an aura anymore.
Well, I knew Fred was going to have a surprise, and here it is.
Well, Fred didn't know it.
I'm not the one.
Maybe I'm the
Keep
one.
looking around. Keep looking around.
This one. Whoa. That's a nice one.
Just as long as you got
Well, that just about wraps up another year of Classic Video Reflections and the activities of the North Texas region of the Classic Car Club of America. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and let's have a great year next year. Remember, this is your club, and it's just as good as you make it.